Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. A very good morning to all. My name is Hanis Nazura and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's webinar. So together with me today is Architect Nur Shahida, whom is the moderator for our segment on IDOL.Ar. And of course, our eminent speaker for the segment, Architect, Interior Designer, Technology SAMSIAH binti Abdullah, who will be further introduced by our moderator. So before we start, I would like to invite our moderator, Architect Shahida, to give some introductions on today's webinar topic. Architect Shahida, over to you.
All right, thank you, Architect Anis. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Hello, ni hao, vanakkam. And thank you to our beautiful MC, Architect Hanis Nazura, for a quick introduction this morning. My name is Nur Shahida, the committee member of PAMSo Southern Chapter, and I have given a mandate to be the moderator for today's webinar. I also would like to thank to our sponsor, Segopin Japroka, for your support towards PAMSo Southern Chapter, and we hope to receive a continuous support from you in the future. So for today's webinar, there will be a sharing session with our PAMSo partner, and later we'll be hearing a sharing session another sharing session from Architect SAMSIAH on a hot topic, I can say. Where are the women architects? So since I'm a woman, so of course I'm kind of excited actually with the hot topic, and hopefully everyone also feels the same. So please, to all participants, stay tuned with us from the beginning until the end. I think that's all for now, Architect Hanis. Over back to you.
Thank you so much, Architect Shahida, for the brief introductions. So as mentioned, today we will be hearing a very interesting sharing by our speakers. Where are the women architect? It is not as sexy as it heard. So behold, take your seat and be comfortable as we are going to start our session shortly. Apart from the Zoom platform, this session can also be viewed in our official YouTube channel, ArTV. Do subscribe the channel for more information on the webinar series and also to watch our previous webinar. So now, without further ado, we will have our technical talk with PAMSo partners, the Gyprod Saint Gobain on the Gyprod Ceiling Solutions by Engineer Hun Janwei, the Senior Technical Sales Executive from Gyprod Malaysia and Gobain Malaysia Sendirian Berhad. So to all the participants, if you have questions to ask, you can type in the Q&A box or you can raise your hand so we can enable you to turn on the mic for you to ask directly to the speakers. So Engineer Hun and your team, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks Hanis. Let me upload the slide now. Okay, can you see my slide?
Yes, clear. All right.
Okay. A very good morning to all professionals. My name is Hun Janwei, Senior Technical Sales Executive from Saint Gobain, Malaysia. Thank you and congratulations to Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia Southern Chapter for making this event happen. This is a perfect platform for us to do sharing, and we hope that this can be continued in the upcoming years. All the best to PAMSo. Without further ado, let us start with Gyprod Ceiling Solution topic in this webinar. So for your information, under the Saint Gobain Group in Malaysia, as you can see from the left to the right of the icon, we have Gyprod, which is the gypsum plasterboard manufacturer, Weber, tile adhesive and waterproofing, E-Mix, cement mortar, Norton, abrasive, Isover, glass wool, Saint Gobain glass is a glass facade, F-Force, woven mesh product, and Security automatic glazing system. So this is me. So okay, I'm Hun Janwei. I just give my brief introduction. I have over 7 years sales and technical experience in the field of building materials manufacturing industry. Besides, I have deep knowledge and expertise in gypsum plasterboard, fiber cement board, calcium silicate board, and lightweight panels. Currently, I am providing sales and technical support, including structural design calculation, acoustic simulation, reverberation simulation, U-value calculation, and all sort of proposal on metal components, products, and system. Next, this is my colleague, Mr. Louis. Mr. Louis is an experienced senior sales executive based in Southern region, means Johor. He was previously in the structural expansion joint system, waterproofing system, soil stabilization field. He is currently serving his 4th year in Gyprock as a regional sales executive. As a regional sales, he is in charge for specification, technical, and sales. Of course, you can ask him as much questions as possible. So we will begin with an introduction of Saint-Gobain. Basically, Saint-Gobain is a French multinational corporation founded in 1665 in Paris. Originally, it is a mineral manufacturer for royal family. And now, it is also produced a variety of construction, high performance, and other materials through diversification. So today, Saint-Gobain celebrate 356 years of anniversary. So next, Saint-Gobain Malaysia Sdn Bhd. Actually, Gyprock, formerly known as a British Plasterboard, BTB, founded in 1917 in UK. Of course, in 2005, Saint-Gobain acquired BPP and officially changed the name to Gyprock in 2008. So we are the largest plasterboard manufacturer in Malaysia with the capacity of 16 million square meters per annum. So the plant is located at Port Klang. And our products serve Malaysia and Singapore market. So at the image there is our office, main office, and also the factory. And also we produce the gypsum plasterboard in the automatic machines. So as a solution provider for all segments, we cover healthcare, education, residential, commercial, hospitality, and also a leisure sector. And we enhance the well-being of end users through various performance, such as acoustic performance, fire resistant, moisture and mold resistant, aesthetic, and also the indoor air quality. So as you can see, there is the icon active air there. So recently, a lot of people concerned about the air qualities. So what is active air? Active air is added into the gypsum plasterboard. So this thing, it captures the formaldehyde in the air and convert this formaldehyde or another VOC, means volatile organic compounds, into the inert compound. So this active air can trap the formaldehyde within the board up to 50 years based on tests. So next, we start with the topic, sealing system. So as we know, there are very many challenges when we specify the sealing systems. Of course, we have to know what is the project requirements and also the site condition. Let's look into it. The first one, so where is the location of the ceiling will be installed? So we have to ask, so is it internal or semi-exposed? Semi-exposed means external. Some people say external, so it's the same meaning. Next, so what are the type of ceiling board to be used? It's very important also because, okay, for example, internal ceiling, normally we use 9mm board. For example, semi-exposed, we use 12.5 mm, for example, or a fire-rated ceiling, we use different thicknesses. Okay, next. Oh, of course, we talk about ceiling. We did touch about ceiling design also. For example, the ceiling is a curved ceiling, or there is a floating ceiling, or is the dome of the masjid, and so on, so on. So we have to know. And even curved ceiling, what is the bending radius? Next, thermal insulation. We talk about thermal insulation. We normally touch about U value. So what is the U value that you're looking for? And authorities requirement, fire rated. Of course, is it the ceiling need 1 hour fire rated, 2 hour fire rated, class O? Next, the project requirements. For example, clean room, high humidity, exposure areas. So what is your project requirements? You have to find out. Next is the acoustic requirement. Sound STC and NRC. So we talk about acoustic, we have a sound insulation, STC, and sound absorption, NRC. So some people that might confuse, acoustic always refer to sound insulation. So actually it's not. Later I will talk more about it. Another one is the M&E services. For example, you have a project, there is a big ducting above the ceiling. So for example, the ducting is 1.2 meter, 2 meter width. So the ceiling, actually, we have to specially add on the bracing to support the ceiling system. So all these detailings, we also need to take notes on it. We cannot use the normal ceiling pattern to build this ceiling. Another one is a ceiling drop. So ceiling drop, okay, for example, from the soffit slab to the ceiling level, what is the ceiling drop? Let's say normally for the residential, the ceiling drop will be less than 1.5 meter. Normally for commercial, like factory or this shop lot, or you talk about the office, somehow the ceiling drop might be more. It can up to 3.6 meter and even more. So we have to know about it also. So, okay, next one. As a solution provider, we have classified the ceiling system into two groups. One is the aesthetic concealed ceiling system, which include the grid ceiling, SL35Z ceiling system. Actually, this one is the ceiling pattern with the 0.35 BMT. So SL40Z means ceiling pattern with 0.4 BMT. Gyprock non-fire rated ceiling system is a suspended ceiling system. Of course, we also have another category, is a performance concealed ceiling system, which include Gyprock wind load ceiling system, is a semi-exposed or external. 1 and 2 hour fire rated ceiling system, either suspended or self-supported. Acoustic ceiling system for sound insulation, STC. Acoustic ceiling for sound absorption, NRC. Thermal insulation ceiling system. And of course, the VOC stabilizer, we call it active air additive. So let's look into the next one. The general design consideration for ceiling. So the first thing we have to look into it is a metal framework. So we talk about metal frame. In Gyprock, we have gyp frame, the name called gyp frame. It comes with various profiles, sizes, and different base metal thickness. Importantly, they are made from the high quality G300 coated zinc aluminum alloy for the anti-rust and the long-lasting performance. Next, for a ceiling system, we also need to look into the spacing, frame spacing, because gypsum plasterboard it carry weight. Okay, we have to ensure that there is adequate support for this ceiling system. Next is the structural stability. Of course, we have to construct a ceiling system. we have to ensure that the overall stability of the ceiling system with different metals framing. The next one, also one of the most important design consideration, is the acting loads or force. Of course, for a ceiling system, we talk about dead load. We start with dead load. Dead load actually is a permanent load. It can be the system self-weight. Self-weight means that the weight of the framing plus the weight of the board. Of course, we also need to take into consideration of weight of the light fitting. In general, the allowable load for the ceiling system, normally we talk about 3 kg per meter square. Next, live load. Actually, for our ceiling system, because our ceiling system is a non-load bearing ceiling system, so we didn't consider any live load. Internal wind pressure. Most of the projects in Malaysia, we didn't consider any wind load. Of course, there is a cases that we might need to consider. Let's say in a residential project, when the people open and close the window or open and close the door, they have this change in the pressure. So there is a wind, it might flow coming in from the external side. So in this scenario, it is recommended to use the design wind pressure of 0.2 kPa, 0.24 or 0.25 kPa. Then even we have the project, they wish to have this safety factor for the lighting. So of course, based on the ASNZ 2785, the internal load factor is 1.4 dead load plus 1.7 ultimate. So in this standard, we can see that the allowable load is 3 kg per meter square. So next is the external wind load. So this is very important to prevent the ceiling collapse. Why? So we have to understand more about this external wind load. So when we design the semi-exposed or external ceiling, we have to consider the external wind pressure. The wind pressure can be positive or negative. Negative wind pressure creates suction, which added the load to the ceiling. Of positive wind pressure, it pushed the ceiling up, we call uplift. Of course, for the tall building, high rise, now we have more and more high rise apartment in the Klang Valley and even the Johor and Penang and so on, the big city. So the wind pressure will increase with height, with the building height, and the wind pressure will amplify in the area with a too tall building, as you can see at the middle of the image. And the wind velocity will increase when the wind travels through the constricted space within the buildings, as you can see from the image there. So what are the consequences if we didn't design the external or semi-exposed ceilings properly? As you can see from the image here, you can easily know that they use the normal ceiling pattern, normally used for the internal application, normal ceiling pattern. So actually for the semi-exposed external ceiling, we recommended to use the start and track ceiling system with it depends on the wind pressure requirement, 1 kPa, 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, and even more. So this one we have to take notes. So where the standard come from? So we have the Australian standard that we can refer to, ASNZ 1170 Part 2, structural design. For the wind action is 1.2, safety factor 1.2 dead load plus 1.5 wind load. This is one of the standard. Of course, in Malaysia, we follow the British standard. In British standard is a BS 5950. The standard is a 1.4 dead load plus 1.4 wind load. just now is previous Australia is 1.2 plus 1.5. So British standard is different. Malaysian standard for MS 1553 2002, we follow 1.4 dead load plus 1.4 wind load. This is how we do the calculations where for the ceiling system. So to check the ceiling stability, we always use the this safety factor. Next, another somehow we wish to know, what is the external wind load that I have to take note? Is it 1 or 1.2 or 1.5 or what is the wind load? So actually, we have the Malaysian standard, the code of practice of wind loading for building structure. So inside this standard, it clearly stated that the wind pressure varies with depends on the zone, terrain category, building height with the multiplying factor, important factor, and many more, and even come with the equations. So based on this, basically we can roughly do the manual calculations, and we can roughly check what is the wind load that I have to put. Let's say we talk about the facilities floor at 9th floor of this building, the service apartment. So what is the wind load that I have to put? So normally we will refer to all these standard, these books. Another way, we also can refer to this wind tunnel analysis. Actually, it's very depends on projects. Some of the projects they come with this analysis report. So inside this report, we will know what is the wind load that we have to put for various floor, and according to the dimension and so on. Okay, after we talk about this wind loading, we look into the board thickness and layer. So normally for the housing project, we use the top line is the 9 mm board. So acoustic ceiling, we might need to use the double layer of baseline, means that we stagger the boards so that we further prevent the sound going through the ceiling, and added with the stone wool or glass wool on top of the ceiling. Or it can be the fire rated ceiling, let's say 2-hour fire rated with 4 layers of boards. Deflection. So deflection normally for ceiling system is always governed by the L/360. So we have the project that require L/500 also. So it really depends on your project requirements. For the semi-expo or external, we also use the L/360. So for the downward and uplifting pressure. Next, this is a fire rating. So fire rating is really subject to the local building codes and regulation, the BOMBA. So for fire rating, we always look into the 3 parameters: stability, integrity, and insulation. So for any non-load drywall or non-load bearing ceiling, the stability always not available. So we don't look into a stability because stability is for the load bearing system. So we look into integrity and insulation. So so for example, for a 1-hour fire rated ceiling system, integrity is 60, then insulation is 60. So it is a minimum requirement that we have to achieve. So I don't touch much about this, so can do the reading here. So of course, for the fire rating, some project they require the class O. So what it means class O? Okay, class O actually is based on the standard BS 476 part 6 and 7. So some project they might require non-combustible material. So that one is under BS 476 part 4. Of course, gypsum plaster boards is cover this part 4, part 6, and part 7 under BS 476. So next is the acoustic STC. So we talk about STC, sound transmission class. We always relate to sound insulation. So the higher STC of the ceiling system, of course, is a better sound insulation. So we, of course, Deep Rock, we did provide the the sound simulations reports to the projects. So this is an example of part of the simulation report for the acoustic ceiling. So for example, we based on the double layer of baseline 12.5 with the ceiling pattern and so on, and with the stone wool 50 mm, 40 kg per meter cube, we get STC 69, for example. And of course, the backing substrate is for example, is a 150 mm concrete surface slab. So we based on this, we can do the simulations. Next is the acoustic in NRC. NRC means sound absorption. So of course, in another way to say that why we look into this NRC. Actually, it is important to use the, for example, this gypsum. This is our products. So to reduce the echo effect. So I give a scenario. For example, you are inside a room or inside a hall. When we talk louder, so you can hear the echo effect. So this echo effect is a noise interference. Of course, when you have an echo, you cannot concentrate to listen to what people say. So you lost focus. So to reduce this effect, of course, you have to use the good NRC products. So NRC 1 means that the product absorbs all the sound. So the lowest is 0, either 1 or 0. So one is the best. So for this product, gypsum, you can see the board behind this perforated paper. So this product you can give NRC 0.75, means it's close to 1, is good. You can absorb the sound perfectly. And where to use this? For example, you have the conference hall, the meeting room, classroom, or the auditorium, or music room, studio room. So you can install all these boards to absorb the sound. So I give you an example. We have a client. They asked us to propose a training classroom, but they didn't give any RT value. The reverberation time is not given. The room volume is 530 meter cube. So normally we have to find the references, for example, from the online. So the closest for the training classroom is the lecture and conference room. So the best is at 0.7 to 1 point something. So this is how we propose. We can do the simulation. So for example, mixed with the normal ceiling, how many meters square, the floor and the wall, how many doors, we calculate the areas of doors, the furniture, let's say assume that 70% of the floor area, we put the table and chair and so on. And the board, how many percent of the board need to be used? Let's say 60% only. So we can achieve 1.13 RT value. So which is close to the requirements. Next one is the thermal insulation. So let's say you have the metal roofing, concrete roof. You want to have a ceiling system with a good thermal insulation. So we always thermal insulation. We always talk into look as lower as possible of the U value. So U value is the rate of transfer of heat through the structure. Then divided by the different temperature across the structure. For example, this is a ceiling system. We have to consider the board, then the concrete roof, the air gap, stone wool, and so on. So we can do the calculation to get the U value. Okay, after we talk about all these design consideration, let's look into the solutions. What are the things that we can provide to cater all these requirements? The most fundamental ceiling system, normally we call the grid ceiling system. So grid ceiling system, we have the normal boards, let's say 9 mm board. We talk about even you have jib racks. Jib rack is actually a plastic laminated board. So normally they use for the clean room, kitchen. So these are the example of the grid ceiling with the distant plasterboard. Next, the SL35Z ceiling system. So as you can see here, this ceiling system only use a single component. We call it SL35Z with the BMT of 0.35. So it, as mentioned earlier, it have a steel grade of G300 with a aluminum zinc coating. So this ceiling system normally used for the 9mm board. It can be at the dry area, top line 9mm, or wet area, upper line 9mm, or even you can use for 12.5mm board, but with a narrower spacing. Maximum ceiling drop that we recommended is 1.5 meter, and no wind load is being considered. This is a common ceiling that you can find in the residential and some commercial area. Of course, we talk about ceiling pattern. Out there is a lot of the GI, we call it zinc coated ceiling pattern with a BMT of 0.25 or 0.3 something, and the width also varies. So what are the difference between GI ceiling pattern and zinc column? So zinc column means we have a zinc and aluminum. The materials is a combination where the zinc as the sacrificial metal, so it can anti-rust or it can last longer. And the BMT is 0.35. It's not like the outside the GI pattern. It can be various. They tell you, oh, this one we give you 0.35. In fact, the GI pattern only give 0.28. This is something always happen in the market, but for us, we will give 0.35 BMT. So let me show you the videos, short videos. Okay, actually from this video, we can see that the sliding door was closed. So how come we still can hear the some wind on the top of the ceiling? Like you heard the sound of the ceiling pattern. It's like shaking. What is the problem there? So normally, for the internal ceiling, we have to highlight that when we open and close the door, open and close the window, we have this as I mentioned earlier, we have there's a difference in the pressure, wind pressure. Either we push the ceiling down or lift the ceiling up. So normally for the design, that's why we always consider L1360 with the certain wind pressure like 0.2 or 0.25 kPa. So please take notes on that, please. So next one is a SL40Z ceiling system. As compared to the previous one, this one we come with a cross joiner and wall anchor, and with the ceiling pattern is 0.4 BMT. So normally this ceiling system is for the JKR spec. So same thing is for the maximum ceiling drop 1.5 meter and no wind load is being considered. So how about I have the internal wind load, just like I mentioned, 0.2, 0.25. Of course, you times the safety factor, you get 0.375 ultimate kPa ultimate. So and I have the ceiling system, for example, I have the ceiling drop, let's say more than 1.5 meter. What should I do? So you can use this ceiling system we call Gyprock non-fire rated ceiling system. So to cater your needs. So this is an example of this is the image of the ceiling. This is a concealed ceiling system. Next, we move into the 1 hour fire rated ceiling system. We have the suspended ceiling system. We also have the self-support. So depends on your projects, the location of the ceilings. Because some projects you can do the suspended, but some project you have a lot of M&E blocking at the top of the ceiling. So we use a self-support ceiling system. Same thing, we have a 2-hour fire rated ceiling system. This suspended ceiling system, we have 4 layers of boards. And the self-support, we have 2 layers of board at the top and 3 layers of the board at the bottom. So you get 2 hours. And we have the G-block wind load system. So this one is for the semi-exposed ceiling system or external. So depends on your wind load. What is the external wind load? 1, 1.2, 1.5. Okay. Next one is the glass door hatch. Because we touched about semi-exposed, we have to know this system board can put as external or semi-exposed. Yeah, actually, of course, yes. We have the board to cater for this requirement. We call glass door hatch. Why is this? Actually, this board, we don't have the paper lining. So we don't have paper lining. We only have this glass mat at the top and bottom of the board. So this board is a special thing. Is homogeneous. So you have we have the hydrophobic coating and hydrophilic coating, and based on the standard here, we tested to the standard. Actually, the test result is less than 3% of the moisture absorption, even better than the standard EN 520H1, because the standard stated that the requirement is less than 5%, but we get less than 3%. So so this board you can use for the semi as well as external. Of course, this is a ceiling system that we show you. We recommended to use the stainless steel drywall screw for the semi-exposed, and with this G-Fuel super joint and the mesh tape. Next one is actually for the moisture resistant board. It not only used for ceiling. Just to share with you, you can use for various areas like bathroom, kitchen, laundry, and so on. The only place that you cannot use is a sauna room. For any gypsum plasterboard, you cannot use for the sauna room. So let us share with you with all kind of special project. For example, let's say you have your project is a curved ceiling. For example, we can come out with the design, the calculations for your ceiling, or how we can do this pre-curved ceiling system, metal framing system for your projects. Or you have the auditorium with various radius. So we can do the pre-curved framing system for your projects also. So this is the auditorium. This is how they install the boards and the framing system. So this project is almost completed by end of this month. So this is part of the images. Or your project is the dome ceiling. So this is how we design for the dome ceiling. So this is before and after. So it's a completed project. Or your project is acoustic. Your project is required acoustic performance. We can introduce the sound isolation brackets to isolate the metal with the soffit slab, for example. So this is how the system looks like. This is after they install the ceiling. Or you have the project, you face a difficulty because let's say this is the room. It's an existing project. Then there is a lot of M&E at the top, and they not allow you to fix the suspended hanger to their purlin. So what should do? So even we want to use self-support also quite hard because the ceiling span is quite big. It's 4.9 meter. Some room is 3.6, 3.8. So what should do for this 2-hour fire-rated ceiling? Of course, for all these special case, we did design for your requirements, so we can introduce these methods to construct the 2-hour fire rated ceiling using the direct fixed clip. Okay, next we touch about some basic about the quality finishes, the flush jointing of the board. So this one is for Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So for normally in the project, we in the Malaysia so we always use Q2 and also the Q3. So it just means that we widen the flush jointing layers. Q3 is the best, of course, in the normal practice but in most of the project they use Q2. So for the project, you are expecting the light coming in, like we want to prevent the light effect of the ceiling. So normally we use Q3. So these are some images to show you how to do the flush jointing. So normally we apply 75 mm of the width of the joining compound first. We put the mesh tape, 50 mm mesh tape. Then second layer we put 150 mm width. Then the third layer minimum 200 mm width. So you can 200, 250 or 300 is up to you, but minimum is 200. And after the flush jointing procedure, we do the direct painting. Of course, we did provide various accessories to cater your projects. The access panel, shadow line, all these L step, L box, and whatsoever. And our products is certified under this Singapore Green Building Product SGBC 40. We have all kind of the certificate, SEAMASTER cert, Bomba cert, all this for the ceiling, the board itself, for the ceiling system also. So we also provide 10 years system warranty for projects. Okay, so to recap, so what are the things that we touched just now? SL35Z, normally for residential internal. Top line 9 mm for dry, Aqualine 9 mm for wet area. SL40Z normally for the JKR project or government projects. Actually, okay, as you can see here is a top line 9 mm, baseline 12.5 for dry, Aqualine for wet areas. Chiptune for that's what I mentioned, the side absorption board with NRC 0.75. You can use that. Then you have a grid ceiling. Grid ceiling, you have two types. One is a normal for the office use. We call Casoprano series. Another one is a gyprock with the PVC laminated. For example, you use for the clean room, you use for the food industry, you use for the kitchen. The next one is a gyprock non-fire rated. As mentioned earlier, if the ceiling drop more than 1.5 meter, or you have the internal wind pressure, or let's say 0.375 ultimate wind pressure, then you can use this. And of course, there is a situation that the ceiling, the frame, the spacing, it might be wider. So we can use this system. So gyprock, wind load, semi-exposed. You can use Aqualine, glass or hash, depends on your projects. Because some projects you have the semi-exposed area, you have the beam or something to block this ceiling system. You can use Aqualine, or you can have the place that whereas is exposed to some rainwater. You can use a glass rock hash, fire rated system, and also other performance system. Of course, you have any difficulties or any special design of a project regarding the acoustic, curved ceiling, dome ceiling, whatsoever ceiling. So you can always look for us. We are more happy to assist for your project proposals. So thank you, everyone. So my name is Hun again, and my colleague are Luis. So we are here to help you all to solve all these ceiling system. Thank you so much. So I pass back the mic to the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Hoon. I need the technical team to enable me to start my video. All right, okay, thank you so much. Again, thank you very much, Engineer Hoon, for the technical presentation. So now I'm going to open for questions from the participants. To all the participants, you can type your questions in the Q&A box, or you can raise your hand to ask directly to our presenter, and the technical team will unmute you. Okay, so while waiting for the questions, Mr. Hoon, I do have one. So basically, previously you mentioned that this product provide a 10 years system warranty, right?
Yes.
Okay, does it actually apply to all the ceiling products, or is it actually differ from one product to another product?
Actually, for most of the ceiling system, as long as we follow the specification given by us lah. So for example, we follow the spacing, the correct ceiling pattern that we provide, and also the boards for the specific areas, let's say semi-exposed or internal whatsoever. Yes, we did provide a 10 years warranty for that. Unless the project, let's say for example, they use outsider ceiling pattern, but using our board, it still can be done. We can provide 5 years warranty for the material itself, the boards. So you use the full system, we give 10 years warranty.
Okay, all right. So following your explanation, during the installations, if it is actually being done by the contractor, so do you have any representative that will actually monitor the whole process so that you can give the complete 10 years of the warranty?
Yes, we do. We have the technical team and also the localized sales representative at various states. So we do the checking from time to time to ensure that they are using the correct ways to do the installation. Somehow, of course, during this COVID pandemic, some of the sites not allow people us to access to the site, but we do ask for the photos to as a supporting documents to ensure, because before we issue any warranties, we have to ensure that they really follow our methods to do the site installation for the ceiling, for example.
Okay, I do have this one questions from one of the participants that asked to me privately. So in housing project, let's say we use your product. So how can actually the purchaser wants to claim the warranty on the ceiling, or is it your warranty only goes to the client?
Okay, for let's say for example, for the, I think Luis, can you answer it? Luis? Okay, Nema is okay. I can answer it. So normally for the project based, we give the warranty to the client. Of course, the client, of course, will cover the ceiling system during the warranty period. So let's say the house owner, when they purchase a residential project, so let's say they already over the deferred liability period of 2 years. Of course, if there is any ceiling problems, they still can feedback to us. You can, if as long as they can prove that the ceiling system is from us. Let's say the ceiling collapse due to certain reason or improper installation and so on, they always can refer to us as long as the system is done by us, is provided by us, is supplied by us.
So meaning that the systems and the product can also come differently, is it? or is it as a one whole package?
Okay, one whole package, we talk about system warranty, 10 years.
Okay, all right.
The board itself or metal itself only, so we give 5 years. So actually, for all this metal framing system, it is well printed with the when it's produced, when what is the time, what is the date, everything printed in all this board behind of the board, and also all of the ceiling pattern and the start and track. So we can trace back. So when we can even estimate when this project started, because we did have all this information hiding behind the ceiling system, so we can check it back. Either it's from us, from our competitors, or from China, or import from China, or whatsoever. We will know it.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Engineer Hoon. I think I have another questions from the attendees. So for the glass rod H, that is actually to be used for more wet area like the bathroom and everything, right? So because of its specification, can we paint the surface of the product?
Yes, of course, you can paint for the product. Normally, for the tile backer, if you use the glass rod H as a tile backer, we don't paint. For example, if you use for the ceiling, yes, you can apply the primer first. Then after that, you use the weatherproof, all this weather shield paint.
It does not have effects towards the product that will void the warranty or whatsoever. No.
No, we have okay for a ceiling system. We need to paint it no matter how. We need to paint it because to make it as for the long last. We talk about long lasting. You have to paint all of the different plasterboard.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for the explanations. I think we do have another question here. So for government project, we cannot specify brand name. So basically, what is your advice? How to make sure that we get the full package, the detailed design, the supply, and also the installations?
Okay, you can get the specification, the write up, how to write the spacing, and so on. So basically, we will provide all this to the architects when to put into this specifications.